And we're back. Welcome to MotiveX English YouTube channel, the podcast where we dive into the engines that drive us, our motivations, our fears, and the big questions that keep us up at night. I'm Leo.
And I'm Samira. Hi, everyone. Today's topic is a big one. We've been circling it for a while. We're calling this episode The Compass Within, and we're talking about life goals. The big question, what is my goal in life?
Yeah, no small talk today. We're jumping right into the deep end. This is one of those topics that can feel incredibly inspiring or utterly paralyzing, depending on the day.
Absolutely. Some days it feels like a North Star. Other days it feels like a pop quiz you didn't study for, where everyone else seems to have the answer except you. There's so much pressure around having one singular, perfectly defined life goal.
The capital L, capital G kind. I remember being in my early 20s and getting asked, "So, what do you want to do with your life?" I felt like I was supposed to have a polished elevator pitch. Well, sir, my 5-year plan is to ascend to a managerial position, build a sustainable investment portfolio, and achieve enlightenment by 30. Total nonsense.
Completely. And that model is so corporate, so linear. It doesn't account for being human, for changing your mind, for failure, for discovering that the thing you thought you wanted actually makes you miserable.
Exactly. So maybe we start by dismantling that. What does goal in life mean to you now? Not the textbook definition, but the feeling of it.
For me, it's less of a destination and more of a quality of journey. It's not become a best-selling author. That's an outcome. The deeper goal is to live a life that is engaged and creative. Writing is the vehicle. But if the book never becomes a bestseller, and yet I spend my days genuinely immersed in the creative process and connecting with people through stories, have I failed? I don't think so. The goal is a state of being, not the trophy.
I love that. For a long time, my goal was simply be successful. I defined that externally: money, job title, apartment, car. I chased this ideal of success and actually got some of it. The title, the corner office, the fancy coffee machine. And I was profoundly unhappy. It was like running a marathon for a trophy made of painted cardboard. It looked shiny from afar, but was hollow up close. I had a panic attack at my desk on a random Tuesday morning, and that was the moment I knew the compass was broken. I was achieving the goal, but it was the wrong one.
So what did recalibrating look like?
Messy. Lots of therapy, and asking very different questions. Not, what do I want to achieve, but what makes me feel alive? When do I lose track of time? What conversations do I want to be having? It wasn't a lightning bolt, it was gradual. I realized my real goal wasn't success, it was connection. Connection to my work, to people, to myself. This podcast is a direct result. For me, it's not about download numbers, it's about this conversation right now, and the chance that someone listening might feel less alone. That feeling of connection is the goal.
That's more resilient than a fixed goal. If your goal is become a CEO and you don't get the promotion, your whole identity can shatter. But if your goal is lead with empathy, you can fulfill that in many roles, with or without a title.
Exactly. It's a verb, not a noun. So let's talk about how that abstract state of being becomes daily practice. For you, an engaged and creative life, what does that look like on a random Wednesday?
It means protecting my creative time. 2 hours every morning, phone away, internet off, just me and the page. Sometimes it flows, sometimes it's like squeezing water from a stone, but showing up is the goal. It's me honoring the creative part of myself.
Even when the writing is terrible?
Especially then, because the goal isn't write a brilliant chapter. The goal is engage in the practice. It also means saying no to things. I used to say yes to every social event because I thought I should. But for me, engagement requires not being burnt out. Sometimes the most engaged choice is to stay home with a book or go for a long walk alone. It's energy management.
I've had to learn that too. Connection doesn't mean going to parties. I'm an introvert. Shallow socializing drains me. True connection might be one deep 2-hour conversation instead of a crowded room. Presence is the practice. Putting my phone away, listening deeply, harder than it sounds.
It's definitely a discipline, and that ties into self-compassion, which is essential. Hustle culture says, no days off, but you can't hustle your way into inner peace or creativity.
Absolutely. I had to forgive myself for chasing the wrong things for so long. It wasn't a detour, it was part of the path. It taught me what I didn't want, which is just as important.
I relate. My inner critic, I call him Derek, he's constantly comparing me to others. Your college friend is a neurosurgeon, another runs a nonprofit, and you're worrying about the inner life of a fictional character. He's relentless.
Mine's named Gary. Wears a tie, carries a spreadsheet.
And the work is to acknowledge Derek, thank him for trying to protect me, and remind him his metrics are outdated. A life spent exploring the human heart is not a waste. It is the goal.
How do you quiet Derek when he's loud?
Data. I keep a glimmer journal, a log of small, meaningful moments. When Derek gets noisy, I reread it, proof that I am living my goal. A note might say, wrote for 2 hours and felt stuck, but had a warm conversation with a stranger at the grocery store. Felt real. It grounds me.
I might steal that. For me, it's gratitude lists. Tiny moments of connection. A barista remembering my name, an email from a listener, my dog curling up beside me. It reminds me that my goal is happening now, not someday.
Exactly. We get so obsessed with the macro that we forget life is built from moments. If your moments align with your desired state of being, you are living your goal already.
So let's talk obstacles. What gets in the way?
Fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being seen, and comparison. Fear's loudspeaker. Social media makes my quiet Wednesday writing session look insignificant.
For me, it's fear of irrelevance, that maybe this podcast doesn't matter, that it's self-indulgent.
How do you work with that?
I remind myself that even if one person feels less alone, it matters. Impact doesn't need to be huge to be valid. And sometimes the one person impacted is me. This work has healed me. Even if no one listened, the process itself fulfills the goal.
Practicality is another obstacle. Money. I can't just say, my goal is creativity, and expect rent to pay itself. I freelance to survive, and sometimes it drains creative energy. It's a constant negotiation.
The day job dilemma is real for almost everyone. The goal isn't to escape the practical, but to integrate it. Find meaning where you can, set boundaries, and remember that supporting your life financially doesn't mean you've abandoned your purpose.
Exactly. It's like adjusting a sailboat. Some seasons require more practical work, others allow more creativity. The key is awareness and not letting the boat capsize.
And giving ourselves grace when life tilts. Now, let's revisit the idea of changing your mind. How has your goal evolved?
Drastically. As a teenager, I wanted to be famous. In my early 20s, I wanted to be an academic. I was in a PhD program and miserably unhappy. Leaving felt like failure. But it wasn't. I had simply outgrown an old goal. Writing fiction emerged from that loss. Slowly and unexpectedly.
I relate. My goal was security, born from financial instability growing up. But absolute security is an illusion, and chasing it made me anxious. Letting it go was terrifying, but it allowed a richer goal, connection, to emerge.
It's like upgrading an internal operating system. The old program isn't compatible with who you're becoming.
So, for listeners asking, what is my goal in life, where do they start?
Stop looking for one big answer. Start with curiosity. Ask smaller, kinder questions.
Like,
What did I love at age 10? What makes me lose track of time? What problems do I enjoy solving? When do I feel most like myself? What energizes me instead of draining me? It's collecting data on yourself gently, without judgment.
And pay attention to envy. It's a powerful clue. You're not envious of a person, but of a quality their life reflects. Freedom, creativity, craftsmanship. Envy points toward your values.
Experiment 2. You don't need to quit your job. Try a pottery class, volunteer, go to a random meetup. Treat it like research. See how things feel.
And talk to people. Ask better questions. Instead of, what do you do? Ask, what feels meaningful in your life? You'll learn so much more.
And be patient. This isn't a race. You don't win a prize for figuring it out early. The exploring itself is the life. The goal isn't to reach a final